What happens when a so-called super mayor starts to lose control? Get ready, because the drama surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard is escalating, and it's about to get real messy. With scandal lurking at every corner, from heated board meetings to a hidden legal team pulling the strings, Henyard's grip on power is slipping faster than anyone could have imagined. The entire town is witnessing the collapse of her empire, and trust me, it's a spectacle you won't want to miss. Brace yourself for a roller coaster ride of power struggles, deceit, and a mountain of lawsuits. What seemed like a simple disagreement at a public board meeting quickly spiraled into something far more explosive. You know those moments when everyone tries to keep things professional, but the tension in the room is undeniable? That's exactly what went down when a former ally of Mayor Henyard, an attorney with insider knowledge, dropped a bombshell. This wasn't just idle gossip. He uncovered shady activities lurking behind the curtain, pointing to corruption and abuse of power. Henyard's closest allies were starting to crumble, and the fallout was impossible to ignore. The room fell silent, and what followed was a chaotic chain of events that set the stage for a very public collapse. So, what did this attorney actually expose? The full details are still a bit hazy, but from the pieces that have come to light, it's clear Henyard's actions aren't as clean as they once seemed. Corruption, mismanagement of funds, and some truly questionable choices have all come into play. Her once loyal supporters are now backing away, realizing that being too close to her could sink their own reputations. It's a classic case of betrayal, and believe me, the spotlight is shining brightly on all of it. The fallout from that meeting didn't stay behind closed doors. It ignited a wildfire of accusations and intense public scrutiny over Henyard's leadership. Former allies are now asking tough questions. Why are her decisions benefiting her instead of the community? What's she hiding? And, perhaps the biggest question of all, how much longer can she keep this charade going before it all falls apart? That moment of betrayal was the breaking point, shifting public opinion and turning Henyard from the once dominant supermayor into a leader desperately trying to hold on to the little power she had left. The public is finally starting to wake up. Henyard's rude, arrogant, and condescending attitude has reached its breaking point. One user summed up the frustration that's been building for months, and honestly, they nailed it. Her leadership is under fire from every direction, and her excuses are no longer flying. Board meetings have turned into chaotic battlegrounds where attendees can barely speak without her trying to shut them down. When public figures avoid transparency, it's a huge red flag. But it doesn't end there. Her legal problems are piling up at an alarming rate. Rumors are swirling that she's quietly building a defense team. And it makes sense. Lawsuits are cropping up left and right, many accusing her of financial mismanagement. And now, people are asking the million-dollar question, where's all the money going? But no one has a solid answer, and that's a problem. To make matters worse, Henyard has been spotted with some unexpected company at recent public meetings. Criminal defense attorneys. Yep, you read that right. These lawyers have been seen sitting right beside her, raising serious questions. Is she preparing for something major? The growing speculation is that these attorneys are getting ready to defend her against what could be serious criminal charges. When criminal defense attorneys start showing up at local board meetings, it's a sure sign things are heading south. The community is catching on, and they're not happy about it. One observer pointed out the obvious. She's refusing to take accountability for her actions, but still tries to act like she's in control of everything. The frustration is palpable, and her attempts to maintain power are starting to look more like frantic efforts to save face than genuine attempts to clear her name. She's losing credibility fast, and the public is noticing. But that's not all. The lawsuits aren't just about accusations of corruption. One of the most shocking scandals involves the denial of a business license to a local entrepreneur, and it stinks of political maneuvering. Tyrone Isom Jr., the owner of a local barber shop, put in serious time and money to purchase and renovate a property, only to be denied a business license with no real explanation. This isn't an isolated case. It's part of a disturbing pattern. Henyard's administration has been accused of using licensing decisions as a tool for personal or political gain, rather than following the proper rules and regulations. Typically, business license applications are straightforward. You meet the basic criteria, like zoning laws and safety standards, and you're good to go. But under Henyard's reign? Not so much. Isom's case is a perfect example of what happens when the process is ignored. Rather than being given the chance to address any issues with his application, he was simply shut out. No explanation, no chance to fix it. This has left people asking, was this really about public safety? Or was Henyard pulling strings for her own benefit? The lack of transparency here is deeply troubling, and it's just another piece of the puzzle revealing a much darker story of corruption. It's not just the business community feeling the fallout from Henyard's questionable leadership. Now, the broader public is starting to speak out in a big way. People are fed up with the constant chaos surrounding their leadership, and many are demanding more transparency and accountability. Public trust in her administration is at an all-time low, and as more details about her actions come to light, it's becoming clear that her days in power could be numbered. At recent meetings, Henyard's combative attitude has only made matters worse. She's refused to take responsibility for any of the accusations against her, often dodging questions with vague and defensive answers. When pressed about the business license controversy, she offered no real explanation, choosing instead to blame the system and avoid taking any responsibility. This kind of response only fuels suspicion. If she had nothing to hide, why not just be straightforward? Even Governor J.B. Pritzker has been asked about the growing scandal surrounding Henyard. While he didn't go into specifics, his response spoke volumes. He kept his distance, stressing the importance of integrity and transparency in public office. But here's the kicker. When a governor feels the need to remind people about basic principles of good governance, it's a clear sign that something's terribly wrong. Pritzker's refusal to comment directly on Henyard's legal troubles speaks for itself. It's almost as if he's bracing for what's coming, but doesn't want to get too involved. Behind the scenes, concerns are rising about how Henyard is managing, or mismanaging, the community's finances. Reports indicate that the township's finances are in disarray, and with multiple investigations already in progress, it's likely that more damaging information will surface in the weeks ahead. Federal authorities are reportedly examining Henyard's spending habits, and if the rumors are true, the outcome won't be pretty. Appointment. That's the word the trustees I've spoken to are using. They say the news took them completely by surprise, and now they're consulting legal counsel to figure out their next steps. Some residents are already distancing themselves from Henyard, realizing that aligning with her could have serious consequences. They don't want to get entangled in the growing legal mess. And honestly, who can blame them? There are simply too many lawsuits, too many accusations, and too many unanswered questions for anyone to feel safe sticking with Henyard right now. In the end, it's clear that Henyard's once solid grip on power is slipping fast. The combination of legal troubles, mounting public dissatisfaction, and increasing scrutiny from higher authorities is creating a perfect storm, one that she may not survive. As each new lawsuit emerges and more accusations pile up, her credibility continues to disintegrate, and the community is demanding change. Henyard's leadership has been marked by controversy, and it's only a matter of time before she faces the consequences of her actions. So what's next for the so-called super mayor? Will she somehow manage to cling to her position, or will the endless stream of lawsuits and scandals finally take her down? As one resident put it, there must be deals happening right now. And honestly, that seems like the only explanation for how things have gotten so out of hand. One thing is for sure, Henyard's days of flying under the radar are over. The spotlight is on her, and it's not going away anytime soon. With more people calling for her resignation, it's becoming clear that her time in power is running out. The big question now is, how much longer can she hold on before she's forced to step down? And when she does, who will take over and clean up the mess she's left behind? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. This drama is far from over. Will Henyard face legal consequences? Or will she somehow manage to hold on to her seat? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned for more updates as this saga continues to unfold.